I proposed to the new Night Arts Challenge, Miami Works project. I don't know how relevant this is because I don't know if it's going to happen. But I proposed a virtual opera. So you're asking me, what am I working on? So I'm working on a virtual opera. I haven't really started working on it because I need the funding from Night and from FIU. Because not so much funding from FIU, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to put together a virtual reality opera on the creation of the oceans. And so this all came about this summer when the Night Arts Challenge thing came out. And I had already been talking to John Stewart here at Miami Beach Urban Studios about the virtual reality equipment that they have, which is limited, but they have some stuff. So I thought, you know, this is past summer. I thought I'll start playing around with that and see what I can come up with, right? See what I can. I've never done any of it, worked on it before, but I thought, let me see what I can do with it. And so when this came out, I think it was John actually who said, you know, you should try to propose something to them. Maybe this virtual reality thing we're talking about. And so we started kind of talking about it, and what could we do that would be, you know, topical and of interest. And it came up, the creation of the oceans. And so I said, yeah, the creation of the oceans. So you put the VR thing on, and you're a particle of ice on a meteor or on a comet. And you look around, and the other people that have VR are the other particles of ice with you. And you turn around, and there's the tail of the comet. And you look forward, and there's the Earth that's coming up at you, right? And so then what happens is you go through the different processes of being ice, then being liquid, then being gas, right? And then being liquid again, you know, which is all the stuff that happens, typically supposed to happen. So eventually you wind up on the Earth, and you wind up going up to being part of the clouds, and you come down, whatever. And eventually there's sea life. That's why I'm thinking of Augusto for choreographed with his dancers. They would be sea life that we could, you know, somehow include, you know, we could chart their movements like you do with VR, right? With video game technology like you do, right? And so that would be, so eventually at the end you come up at the end and you're at Miami Beach and you've been through the oceans and what have you. And of course, as I kept researching this before I put everything in, I found that the other theory that's even stronger right now is that actually the oceans were formed by water that was inside the rocks. So you could actually be a particle of water inside the rock and then come out of the rock, and that would be another experience, VR experience. And the thing that makes it more like what I do is that it would be non-linear, non-narrative. So you do start on the comet or inside of a rock, and you do end in Miami Beach, but everything that happens in between is complete non-sequentials, because it's not supposed to be a documentary. It's not a Nat Geo science documentary. It's supposed to be kind of a work of art, an artistic work, right? And so the idea, what Campbell doesn't know this, but the idea is to have Campbell obviously also include some very subtle text as part of this piece. And I also have a string trio that will be either there as a hologram when you walk into the space, or live, most likely as a hologram. And then when you put the VR on, so as they're playing, they're going to indicate when you move in different directions by what they're playing. That would be their role in this piece. And if I don't have them there live, they'll be obviously recorded as part of the VR. So when you put your headset on, they're there, over in the corner, and they're always kind of signaling as to some of the stuff that you're going to do. And so I can't do this by myself because I'm not a computer expert or a special effects expert, but I was very, very, very fortunate to come into contact with one who was a graduate from architecture, Carlos Fue, who, as I think I mentioned to you earlier, did the effects for Independence Day. So, and fortunately, he's moved from Hollywood back here. We've been discussing this, and he's part of the team, the important part of the team to make this happen. So we'll see. I put that in tonight, and in the meantime, FIU and journalism is teaming up with a film company to start an initiative dealing with virtual reality. So they're going to be acquiring, the college is going to be acquiring a lot of this equipment to teach students. And the idea is to have that as an integral part of the creation of this work, hopefully with the support of the Knight Foundation. And if not with the support of the Knight Foundation, we'll see where else there may be support. The Dean, Brian, is very interested and excited about it, so am I, and so is Carlos. So hopefully, one way or the other, we'll see if we can't make that happen. But it would be, I think, a very interesting experience for South Florida audiences and audiences elsewhere, because that's one of the ideas of this Night Challenge, is that art, they're going to showcase art that's created here and that's going to blow everybody's mind everywhere else.